Environmental organizations write to the president about a road across the Singharaja forest. Minister of Environment urges his supporters to plant a tree. 1.6 trillion rupee vote on account to be tabled in Parliament. Investigations launched into an accomplice of Anguda Lokka in India. A narcotic substance named Mandy smuggled into Sri Lanka. Fall army worm resurfaces in Passara.
What you just witnessed were visuals of a road that is being constructed through the Singharaja forest. A very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to Primetime News, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. Now, environmentalists have pointed out that the construction has caused immense environmental destruction. The road is being constructed through the Gingaga Reserve and the Singharaja Forest Reserve by connecting Nellore and Deniaya.
Our island has several World Heritage Sites despite being small in size. There are 8 World Heritage Sites, including 2 natural sites, within 65,610 square kilometers of land in Sri Lanka. The Singharaja forest is not just one among them, but a heritage site of historic significance. It is home to thousands of flora and fauna that are endemic to our country. We filed this news report by drawing attention to this matter. A group of environmentalists from the Rainforest Protectors Organization who travelled from Nellore to Lankagama had come across this ongoing construction. They had addressed this matter to the president, citing it as an activity that is unfavourable to the environment. The environmentalist pointed out that the road is being constructed within a width of between 12 to 20 feet. The environmentalists also point out that the area is facing a massive threat of a landslide due to this construction. Area residents and officers involved in the construction say that the road will run through Pitadeniya in Dehiyaya until Lankagama. The construction of this road is likely to block many small waterways, and it gives rise to a risk for soil removed during the construction process to be deposited in the Gin River. The letter sent by the Rainforest Protectors Organization to the President notes that the relevant authorities have not been informed about the construction of a road through the Singharaja forest. It added that a project report or a letter has not been issued permitting the construction of the road. The environmental organization requested that such constructions be carried out keeping with the environmental regulations and following an environmental impact assessment report.
The development of rural infrastructure is a must. Residents of these villages must be provided with the necessary facilities as well. However, attention must be paid to the environment when carrying out constructions in World Heritage Sites such as the Singharaja forest. That is the form of development that the people expect. Meanwhile, Environment Minister Mahinda Amaraveera spoke about his future plans concerning the environment at an event in Agunakula Palace today.
I took an oath on Wednesday and assumed duties on Friday. There are a large number of environmentalists in the country. I will find the ideal group. That is because some might be working for NGOs and may have ulterior motives. We will hold talks with true environmentalists who truly love the environment. They might not have degrees in this matter. Their educational qualifications could be low. However, I will listen to all of those who display enthusiasm in this matter. I wish to request the 124,000 people who voted for me to plant a sapling with the coming of the rains. I urge them to avoid keeping plants inside and to plant them instead. We will create some beautiful cities. While imposing strict regulations to protect the environment, I wish to state that I will take the necessary steps to create beautiful villages and cities.
Public meetings were held by elected parliamentarians to thank the people who voted them into power.
An event was organised in Bibila yesterday to welcome Vijitha Beragoda, who was appointed as the State Minister of Dhamma Schools, Bhikkhu Education, Pirivenas and Buddhist Universities. Meanwhile, an event was held in Bogavanthalava to welcome Jeevan Tondaman, the State Minister of Estate Housing and Community Infrastructure Facilities.
Meanwhile, Minister Vasudeva Nanayakkara expressed the following views on the mandate given by the people.
What has been given to them? They have been entrusted with a tedious task. It is a duty that involves less rest and sleep, more work, and also requires more commitment and responsibility. You don't have to thank them for entrusting them with this duty. The people who undertake this responsibility as a privilege must be the ones who should be thanking. This is a large responsibility. If there are individuals who assume that this is a chance to enjoy and receive many perks, then there is no issue in thanking them. There is no need to thank me.
The Sunday Times reported that a vote on account to the tune of 1.6 trillion rupees is being given priority by the government to settle old bills and kickstart the economy. It adds that this will be presented to Parliament prior to the November budget.
According to the report on Sunday Times, the vote on account will be presented in Parliament immediately after Cabinet approval is obtained. The urgent requirement is to pay outstanding bills for road and building constructions, among other payments. The report adds that the expenses will cover an estimated 200 billion rupees needed to be paid for completion of construction projects that have been delayed for more than 1 year. Provisions will also be made to provide for the payment of foreign loans and some of the new projects, including road development and power projects. The newly appointed Samurdhi and Microfinance State Minister Shehan Semasinghe was quoted as saying that the vote on account would help to ensure that the government was able to carry on without obstacles until the budget was presented. Here are some views expressed regarding the economic plan of the government.
We hope to initiate a program for economic development beginning from the rural level and up to the national economy. We will create an environment where people will get money into their hands and where money will begin to flow. The people can have hope, and that the budget proposal will be presented at the end of this year will bring an end to the dark economic period during the last 4 years and bring about a new beginning. The people can have expectations for a more prosperous future.
We
have already implemented a special program for the domestic economy. We have appointed ministers for specific industries. I think the people will see the development before long. We must now train to engage in policy-based politics. We need to move away from politics where people were promised concessions and deceived. We have already launched a program to provide employment to children of 100,000 low-income families. We know what a relief it is for a member of family to get a job. Employment has been provided to 50,000 graduates. Through all of these programs, we want to reduce the social problems in the country as well. At the next cabinet meeting, we will have to decide whether to bring in a vote on account until the month of December or to present a new budget proposal.
MP-elect from the Samagi Jana Balawege, Harsha De Silva, spoke about the government's plan to table a vote on account and the economic activities of the government.
The economic growth of the first quarter that was obtained from the Department of Statistics a few hours before the election was negative 1.6%. The bigger challenge that the government has to face is the massive contraction in the economy in the second quarter due to the issues brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, the contraction was negative 1.6%. The contraction after that would be worse. What are the short-term, medium-term and long-term plans to deal with this economic situation? This is the reason why we have raised concerns regarding the composition of the cabinet. We hope that the appointments made to the cabinet ministers would reflect the plan of the government to face the economic challenges post-COVID-19. How can we overcome these issues? We hope that technology will be given prominence, but this has not been given a place in the cabinet of ministers. Not even a minister has been appointed for technology. There was a minister for information technology in the country, but that portfolio has been done away with. When ministers have been appointed for clay, coir and batik, why couldn't they appoint a minister for information technology? Are we not planning on developing the economy of the country using technology in the post-COVID-19 era?
පශ්චාත් කොරෝනා ආර්ථිකය දියුණු කරන්න උත්සාහ කරන්න.
Journalists questioned Dr. Harsha De Silva regarding the vote on account that will be tabled in Parliament.
නෑ vote on account එකක් ගේනවා නම් අපේ කිසි ගැටලු.
We have no issue with a vote on account. We believe that there is a need to table it in Parliament. They will have to bring this vote on account and we will support it.
නෑ. ඉතින් vote on account එකක් ගේන්න වෙනවා. ඒකට අපි අපේ සහයෝගය දෙනවා.
Residents in the vicinity of the Umaoya have complained of a water shortage, although a water project centering the Umaoya supplies water to the country's southern region.
Around 400 families in the Kahatapite village in Uva Paranagama complain that they lack sufficient access to water. This body of water is a massive resource for villagers. However, they say that the water obtained from this is insufficient. A part of the Umaoya project has been constructed near the village of Kahatapitia. Although water is supplied to Hambantota through this project, the Kahatapitia village does not enjoy this facility. The Umaoya project has been constructed near this area. Water is being supplied to Hambantota through this project. We will require 200 or 300 foot long pipes to carry water to this village. We are unable to obtain water although we have the resource. The Umaoya project to supply water to the south began on the 21st of April in 2008. The project was aimed at altering the natural water path to Umaoya by diverting it to the southern region through the Kirindi Oya. However, the villagers are requesting authorities to look into their problems as well.
Will the provincial council election be held under the old system? Subject Minister Janaka Bandara Thenakon is making arrangements to hold talks with the President and Prime Minister.
Newspapers today reported that the provincial council election is tipped to be held under the district preferential voting system. Reports suggest that an amendment is to be passed to the Provincial Council Elections Act in this regard. Politicians expressed the following views over this matter today.
There is a legal background to this. We required a two-thirds majority to rectify this situation. We have received it now. Therefore, we hope to discuss these matters at the earliest. We can't announce a definite day, but we will solve these issues created by the 13th Amendment and take the relevant action through discussions. We can conduct the election within a quick period rather than holding it under the new system. That is because the provincial council elections have been delayed unnecessarily. Therefore, the election must be held. It is easier to conduct the election under the old system. We hope to conduct the poll within the next 6 months. The next few months are important to make the necessary arrangements. The provincial council elections were not held under the Good Governance government. During the period in which the poll was not held, we were able to conduct many state and religious events beautifully. We were able to make the necessary arrangements with the assistance of the divisional secretaries, district secretaries and district coordination committees. Around 60 million is paid monthly for members of Pradesh Sabhas and its chairman. Therefore, to develop this country and uplift it, abolish these Pradesh Sabhas once they become defunct. The municipal councils, urban councils and provincial councils are not necessary. Abolish provincial councils.
The term of the Eastern, Sabaragamuwa and North Central Provincial Councils had ended in 2017, while the term of the Central, Northwestern and Northern Provincial Councils had expired in 2018. The term of the Uva, Western and Southern Provincial Councils had ended last year.
The Mahanayaka Thera of the Yaskiri chapter of the CM sect, Most Venerable Varakakota Sri Jnana Ratana Thera, expressed these views on the political changes that must be made in the future.
The Mahanayaka Thero of the Askiriya chapter, Most Venerable Varkagoda Sri Jnana Ratana Thera, expressed these views when Kandy District Parliamentarian Udayana Kirindigoda called upon him today.
ජාතික වශයෙන් දීමේදී නීතිය පැත්තෙන් විශාල කරන්න තියෙන එක 19 ආණ්ඩුක්‍රමයට සංශෝධනය වැරදියෙන් අයින් කර හරි විදිහට මේක ඉස්සරහට ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට හදාගන්න එක. ඒක සැප්තැම්බර් මාසයේ වෙනකොට කියනවා. ඊට පස්සේ සම්පූර්ණ ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථා ප්‍රතිසංස් කරන්න එකට යන්න වෙනවා අපිට දැන්. ඒ වගේ මැතිවරණ ක්‍රමයේ වෙනස් කරන එක තමයි මූලිකම දේ. ඒක නැත්නම් සාකච්ඡා කරනවා. මගේ පුද්ගලික මතය නෙවෙයි අවශ්‍ය නැහැ කියන එක ඇත්තටම. මාසු ගානක්
Shamini Veerasuriya, the Anuradhapura East electoral organizer of the Our Power of People party, has filed a complaint with the police over Venerable Vadidigama Vimalathesathera, who served as party secretary. As the Our Power of People party's electorate organizer for Anuradhapura East, I came to the Anuradhapura police station. Our secretary Vedinigama Vimalathesathero is missing at present. I filed a complaint with the police. I'm requesting our secretary to avoid being in hiding. Come out and solve this problem. We conducted ourselves by having faith on you. He's giving voice cuts and speaking on camera, but no one knows his whereabouts. If the Thero is saying that he's facing threats, he must reveal who is threatening him. This is a problem for us. Since this Thero was in Anuradhapura previously, I'm having a suspicion whether he is in Anuradhapura at present. Meanwhile, former parliamentarian Venerable Baddegama Samita Thero expressed the following views on the crisis in the Our Power of People party.
The country expects our advice and example as Theros. As Theros engaged in politics, I believe that we have to conduct ourselves with more responsibility and also in an exemplary manner. In the Theravada tradition, we have two factions that include the village folk and the monastery. As individuals who are committed to eliminate greed, we must conduct ourselves carefully when living up to that. On the same lines in which I justify our involvement in politics, I must say that we engage in politics with kindness and wisdom. Therefore, I am respectfully requesting the Theros in the Our Power of People party to resolve this issue peacefully without any delay.
Meanwhile, Venerable Valawa Hangunuwave Dharmaratana Thero, the chief incumbent of the Mihintale Rajamahawihara, expressed views in this regard.
From
the beginning, we told you not to help Buddhist monks by voting for them. There were not enough votes to win a seat. However, when all the votes were collected, there was enough to get a nationalist seat. Now they are fighting unable to share that one seat. They have given that parliament seat more importance than the Sasana. At least take this as an example and make a note to not vote for a Buddhist monk at future elections. It is the best respect that you can give to the Sasana.
An individual has been arrested in Ambalangoda for the possession of 12 kilograms of Mandi. According to the police, the street price of the stock of drugs exceeded 200 million rupees.
It is being suspected that the stock of drugs have been brought to the island via the sea. The raid to seize the stock of drugs was carried out by a unit attached to the Mount Lavinia police.
The stock of drugs was seized and the suspect was arrested during a raid in Ambalangoda that was carried out based on a tip-off given to the senior DIG in charge of the Western Province by the general public. The suspect is 33 years old. This is the first instance that we came across such a large quantity of this drug being smuggled into Sri Lanka. This drug is being used by various names at various nightclubs and various parties organized on social media. It is also reported that there is a lack of drugs in the illegal market, drugs such as heroin. Therefore, this drug is being sold at high prices. We have received information that alternate drugs for this have also been brought into the country.
Yesterday, Newsfirst reported about a student in Mirigama who had lost his vision after a sudden illness. State Minister Professor Chan Najar Sumana met with the student today.
Lenin Niroshan Kumara had fallen ill in August last year due to epilepsy. Although doctors had instructed him to visit the medical clinic every month, he was unable to comply with the instructions due to the restrictions that were imposed with the COVID-19 outbreak. However, in keeping with the advice of the doctors, Niroshan's parents had obtained his medication via post from the Mirigama hospital. The parents complained that their son's illness had worsened after obtaining the medication. They add that it led to him losing his vision. The medical superintendent of the Mirigama-based hospital, Dr. Jayanta Beratna, said that a committee comprising of doctors is conducting an investigation into the incident. State Minister of Pharmaceutical Production, Supply and Regulation, Professor Channa Jayasumana, inspected the medical records of the student upon visiting him today.
නෑ දැන් ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ මෙහෙමයි මේකේ පේන හැටියට. මෙයා මේ සෝඩියම් වැල්ප්‍රොයිඩ් කියන බෙහෙත තමයි දිගටම අරන් තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට අප්‍රේල් 3 වෙනිදා ක්ලිනික් එකට
His medication was changed at the clinic on the 3rd of April. What has happened is a side effect of his medication. We will have to investigate as to why his medication was changed.
හදිස්සියේ ඇයි බෙහෙත වෙනස් කරේ කියන එක ගැන විමර්ශනයක් කරන්න වෙනවා.
කවුරු හරි මෙතන අපෝගේත් එක සාරිපු කරලා දෙන්න.
We will discuss this with the Health Secretary and then carry out an investigation. We hope to obtain a report immediately and then serve justice on this child. We have told the Mirigama Divisional Secretary to provide the necessary facilities to the student. He has agreed to disburse funds for the monthly expenses of the student. When something like that happens to a family that is dependent on the Samurdhi allowance, they can obtain compensation. We hope to discuss that and take the relevant course of action. I hope to take the maximum possible measures to restore the vision of this child.
Police say they have received reports that a 16-year-old child had been sexually abused by a group of fishermen at sea. Police spokesman SSP Jali Sinaratna said that a medical examination will be carried out based on the statement of the child.
The 16-year-old boy had gone to sea with 4 fishermen on the 28th of June. Police said the child had been abused by the crew on the boat while they were at sea for 48 days. According to police, the owner of the boat and 2 others have been arrested after the boat returned to the shore on the 12th of this month.
He was unable to walk when he returned. He came back home in a 3-wheeler after docking the boat. They have beaten him continuously. He cannot walk as well. My child has been injured. They have cut his hair as well. Please enforce the law. They have beaten my child's back and damaged the bones. It costs around 20,000 rupees to insert a plate. My child went to work to earn enough money to construct a house for us.
Investigations carried out so far have revealed that the fishermen had beaten the boy out of anger for letting a fish slip back into the sea. It has been revealed that the child had been abused by various means during their stay at sea. He has been hospitalized and is being subject to medical examination. The owner of the boat is about 64 years old. We have arrested a 27-year-old resident of Mirissa and a 33-year-old resident of Bandaramulla. Police are conducting investigations to arrest 2 individuals identified as Dimutu Sanjeeva and Giganage Dilan Maduranga. Based on the statement recorded from the child, it has been reported that he was sexually abused. After receiving the medical report over this incident, we hope to file charges against the suspects if the boy has been sexually abused.
යාගේ වාර්තාව ලැබුණාට පස්සේ ඒ සිදු කර තිබෙනවා නම් ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන්වත් අපි ඔවුන්ට විරුද්ධව චෝදනා
The Indian police have launched an investigation into a close associate of Angoda Lokha.
The Times of India, citing the Criminal Investigation Department of the Tamil Nadu Police Crimes Branch, reported that the Sri Lankan underworld member Maddumage Lasantha Chandana Pereira, alias Angoda Lokka, possessed a pistol during his stay in Coimbatore. Reports suggest that Angoda Lokka had died on the 3rd of July due to a cardiac arrest and that a post-mortem was carried out by the Coimbatore Medical College and Hospital. His body was taken to Madurai by lawyer Sivakami Sundari, who posed as his relative, and Amani Thanji from Colombo, who was Angoda Lokka's flatmate in Coimbatore city. According to the Times of India report, the duo had handed over the pistol to Angoda Lokka's accomplice, and the CID of the crime branch is trying to trace the accomplice. The CBCID said that lawyer Sundari and her friend Dhyaneswaran had forged documents and obtained an Aadhaar card for Angoda Lokka under the name of Pradeep Singh. The Times of India said Angoda Lokka had produced this card as proof to government officials and to rent multiple houses. The newspaper report stated that Angoda Lokka had stayed in an apartment at Sarvanampitti in Coimbatore under the name of Pradeep Singh since 2018 before moving to a rented house in Cheranma Nagar in February 2020. The report adds that Amani Thanji moved in with him in March of the same year.
What should be the priorities of the new government? These are the views expressed by Minister Nimal Siddipal de Silva on the matter.
Our government has several priorities. One is to amend the 19th Amendment to the Constitution. The people gave us a mandate to remove the problematic sections of that amendment. We will assist the government to do that. But I have one more thing on my political agenda. I want the most preferential votes, but I am not in favor of preferential votes. To create a better political culture, we need a more simpler ballot paper than a 2 feet long sheet. We need better election laws, proper registration for parties. The registration of independent groups that deposit 50,000 and 75,000 rupees should be stopped. We need to implement a program to bring about these changes. The government must rid the country of this political culture where votes are being auctioned off for a bottle of alcohol or moonshine and political candidates fight each other for votes.
Former Provincial Councillor of JVP Samantha Vidyaratna expressed the following views regarding the constitutional amendment.
Now what is left is to respect the people's mandate and solve their issues. In these 10 days, it is quite distinctive that they are acting as if they are solving the issues of the people, but in reality they are embarking on new ways and methods to secure and widen their power. It can be seen that they are trying to abolish the 19th Amendment and bring the 20th to secure their power. That is fine. Let us wait and see. If the 20th Amendment is for the people, we will be supporting it. But if the government is abolishing the 19th Amendment by removing the positive provisions of it, we will be against it.
At a time where two people representing the Badulla district expressed their views on the constitutional amendments, we received this news from Badulla. The corn cultivation in Matihagathena Badulla is facing the risk of the fall armyworm. According to the farmers, a huge problem will be created if the disease spread to their paddy cultivations.
Corn has been cultivated across 30 acres in the Matigahatana village in Passara Badulla. However, the entire crop is at risk of being destroyed due to the spread of the fall armyworm. The fall armyworm menace that destroyed cultivations in the United States and Africa made its way to India in 2018. Sri Lanka also suffered massive damages when the fall armyworm menace began spreading in the country last year. Our cultivation is being destroyed by the fall armyworm. We have worked tirelessly to cultivate corn. We are in debt as well. The disease has spread towards the finger millet cultivations as well. We are not sure whether it will spread to the paddy cultivations in the country. All farmers who are currently battered by the fall armyworm menace in Matigahatana have been instructed to visit the Agrarian Service Centre tomorrow.
An auction of police dogs was held at the police kennels headquarters in Askiria. Accordingly, 25 dogs attached to the police kennels division were auctioned.
Police kennels unit members that have been withdrawn from service due to age and other medical reasons were auctioned off in this manner. Among the auctioned canines, some of the canines were involved in many operations, including drug raids. A Labrador named Barrett was auctioned at the highest bid of 101,000 rupees.
The reason why I bought a well-trained and composed dog is to ensure the safety of my family, my home and my neighborhood.
According to our correspondent, the 25 dogs were auctioned off for a total of 315,800 rupees.
A special project under the New Voices concept by District 306A1 of the Lions Club International has been launched called Breathe, where plants are to be donated to newborn babies in selected maternity hospitals.
The New Voices concept was introduced in order to enhance female involvement in Lions Club activities. The first phase of the project will take place at the Ketumati Maternity Hospital in Panadura.
We have commenced this project for the infants. About 450 babies are born at this hospital in a month. We will grant them a plant when they leave the hospital. Our objective is to plant 450 a month and to do it throughout the year. This is especially done through the New Voices initiative of the Lions Club that is in place for the empowerment of women.
With that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. For the News First team, I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka, together with our interpreter Tharaka Gabriel. Good night.